Ava Robinson, welcome to the All Good Books podcast. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Jared. I love to talk about writing, and I really love to talk to booksellers and hear all about their process too.
I'm so glad you like to talk to booksellers because we love authors, we love books. Naturally, we sell them, and I in particular love your book, Definitely Better Now, which is my current sad pick. Oh, you didn't think I was gonna do this without like showing like the book for the people watching on YouTube? Absolutely, it is such a good book. So I'm glad you like talking to booksellers, but thank you for doing this because we're so grateful and we love our authors. This is your debut novel, and let's just get right to it. What made you want to write Definitely Better Now? Like, let's get right to it.
Yeah, so I was in my MFA program. I got my MFA at the New School in New York City, and I've told this story before, but I was writing like a really fancy, really highly literary book. That was like the book that I joined the program with. It was a Russian saga that was like trying to tell the story of the Russian Revolution, 10 years, three perspectives. Like you imagine, you can imagine, you know what I mean? Like a really,
Hmm.
really literary. And I was having a really, really hard time with that. I was like, I couldn't, I was just like stuck in research. I was barely writing. I would like write, like, it was just a tortured process. And I was talking to my friend who's also a writer, and I was like, this just isn't fun anymore. Like, this isn't fun. And
Mm.
she said, what would be fun? And I was like, I guess like a romance novel would be fun. They're fun to read, so it would be fun to write. And she was like, all right, just like give yourself permission to like put the Russian saga on pause and write a romance novel. And that was what I started to do. And so she literally Googled romance novel prompts. We were on the phone and gave me a prompt that was write a book that starts with a bad date. And the bad date did not make it in the book, but that was like all I had. And so I wrote a date that was it was the characters Ben and Emma, and on the date it was like awkward because I'm a sober person. I was like, oh, what if she's like on a date and she hasn't told the guy that she's sober, and like the tension there, and that was really where
Hmm.
the idea came from.
It's a great idea. It's a great novel, and I have to warn everyone listening and all the author guests. I use the word incredible a lot, and it's not me being funny. Like the work is incredible. I love the book. I mean, you had more fun writing this story processing what you just said. But a lot of people wouldn't think that, oh, someone's first year sobriety or that sobriety journey could be fun. And she's single, she's in the city, she's rediscovering herself without the use of substances or the aids of substances. So, fun. And I think the book is a whole lot of fun. What are your thoughts on that? Focusing on a character or having a character that's dealing with sobriety or within the sobriety journey, but also wanting to convey that sense of fun, that convey that sense of fantasy almost and romance.
Totally, yeah. That was super important to me. As a sober person, there's like this one kind of narrative often that's told in the community, which is like a phoenix rising from the ashes, and you have to see a character suffer a lot to get
Mhm.
their happiness, basically. And it's like I feel like life is so much more about that moment than getting sober. There's a whole life after that of being sober, and that's what I
Mhm.
really wanted to explore. I didn't really want to. It was really important to me. The book starts when she's 1 year sober, and so I really didn't want to go through like the rock bottom, the this, the all of those feelings. I wanted to be like, okay, she is a sober person. It's also fun because there's like a rule in AA that you shouldn't date for your first year of sobriety. So I was like, I can riff on that also. So I can have her like firmly in that community. And then just
Mhm.
kind of like have her just be a character, and this is one thing about her. This isn't the whole story.
Mhm.
And that was important to me too. I wanted to give sober people that fun and that romance too, instead of just that like tortured rock bottom, which is like a part of it, but didn't I didn't want it to be this book. I wanted to leave
Oh,
that to other people.
right. I mean, the book has moments where you learn about Emma's past and like, oh, okay, like, here are her blackout moments and some of the extreme moments, but that's one of the many things I love most about it. It never felt like we were teetering the edge of like, oh, she's about to have a major relapse and the whole drama of that
Mm-hmm.
and a reset on top of dealing with Ben and on top of dealing with, her work and her father and what's not no spoilers, but what's happening with her father. I love that. I love that it was like I'm 1 year sober. I have my thoughts, my moments, but I'm powering through. And it was nice to see someone have that experience because a journey of sobriety is not negative or positive. Based on my past and my
Exactly.
experience, it is what it is. Because a relapse
Yeah.
is real for a lot of people, but I love the fact that it wasn't the typical story or that. typical stereotype wasn't a part of her
Hmm.
journey, which was great. So well done on that, because you can get more into the romance that way too.
Exactly. And I was workshopping this book in my MFA program, and other writers in the room were like, "Well, she has to relapse during workshop." And I was like, "Why does she have to relapse?" And they
Right.
kind of were like, "Well, it's like Chekhov's gun, you have an addict on the page, it has to go off." And I was like, "But no, like it doesn't. People don't relapse all the time. And there can be narratives without that." And so after they said that, I was like even more obsessed with how to create like an effective book without a relapse in it.
You sound
Um
like me, like, don't give me a challenge. I will take you up on
exactly.
it. It's like you said I can't do what? Okay, like no relapse
Exactly.
ever. Like no. And I love, speaking of not relapse, but speaking of her journey, I love the scene where she kind of walks out of that meeting, the was it the Hudson Yards meeting, the fancy AA meeting in, like,
Hmm.
the good side of New York. I love like that speech moment. I almost feel like if I was looking at a TV show or a film, like this would be the perfect monologue. Okay, this is what the actress wins the award for. It was such a powerful
That's
moment.
exactly what I thought when I wrote it.
No, I love that. I love that. Who would you want to play the lead character?
Oh my God. When I wrote it, I think that she's not of age now, but it takes out so long for books.
Mhm.
I was thinking of Brie Larson.
Oh,
I
I love Brie Larson. She would be great.
Yeah, she would be great. But I do that scene at readings too. Because
Hmm.
it's really self-contained. So it's like really good if you have like a 10-minute reading. I like to read that scene, even though it's like far down in the book. I feel like it gives people a good taste. So
It's so
that's really my
powerful.
monologue scene.
It's so powerful, a powerful monologue, a powerful piece of writing. I think one of the many things that can make writing powerful, just saying with that word, is speaking or writing about, what we know. Is there anything about the book? And don't get too deep if you don't want to, or if you don't feel comfortable, or be like, oh no, it might even be applying to you. But is there anything about the book that's autobiographical? Because it seems so personal, it seems so thoughtful, where it's like, oh, either this is coming from someplace from within or a place of I know someone, an intimacy of knowing someone's journey that might be similar to this character.
Yeah, well, I'm sober, so I got sober like 12 years ago now. So definitely that's a part of it. And what I say is this, none of these scenes happened to me. Like nothing, but all of the feelings did. Do you know what I mean? So it was
Hmm.
like I can put these feelings that might have happened to me in a totally different context and create this story. Like I actually, this is I met my husband in AA. So we had a fairly different love story, like totally
Hmm.
not this miscommunication. And a big one, my dad is still alive. So all of these things are like fictional, but the feelings of, um, you know, I feel like the most autobiographical is probably just the awkwardness at the office about
Hmm.
being sober that like I really felt as a young person and just be like
Hmm.
how when you don't want to open yourself up at the office, but you're like have to in this awkward way. And that was very much taken from life, but definitely all of all these big feelings about being a young person in your 20s and being sober in New York City that I lived through.
I mean, her workplace, while there are a lot of positives to it, especially in the beginning part of the book, it felt like a pressure cooker because she has that internal pressure of like trying to maintain her sense of self on this journey, along with like the kind of work she's doing, maybe not getting paid as much as she should, but then the office setup where like they're in such close proximity. And it just seems like, oh, a pressure cooker on top of the internal pressure. But I loved it. I love this book, and I love the different scenarios and going or touching on AA. When my substance use went up, I popped into AAs just to kind of like, reset. Let
Mm-hmm.
me check in. Let me make sure like things are where they need to be for me. And that's another thing I love about the book. Definitely better now. It doesn't feel like total fantasy or like someone who doesn't have insight into what it's like. It feels like, oh, I've been to meetings like this. I know some of these
Yep.
characters in the meeting who like they're ready to talk versus like me, don't look at me, don't ask me no questions. I'm not leading no kind of talk. Like, I have my own feelings about organized religion and stuff. So it's like, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
here because, I want that fellowship, that connection. Moving away from talking about sobriety and shifting gears a little bit and away from your book, what do you look for when you read a book for pleasure?
Oh my God. I saw something on Instagram recently that was like a friend, a fellow writer was like, everybody send me your favorite sentence writer. And I couldn't think of a single person because I
A
cannot
sentence
read
writer.
sentences. Yeah, like someone who writes the most beautiful sentences. She's teaching a class
Oh,
all about how to craft sentences.
oh
And I
wow.
don't look at that at all. I was like, I can't think of a single one. I
Oh
was like,
my
what's the
God.
sentence? Basically, I am looking for plot. I'm a big plot girl, and I'm looking for heart. I'm looking for that connection. I think when I read for fun, I'm I love romance. I read so many romance books, and then I think the book that I loved, which is not a romance that I read recently, Annie Hartnett's The Road to Tender Hearts. Have you read that? That was
I
so good.
haven't.
It's a road trip book, so I'm working on a
Mhm.
road trip book, but I'm
Ooh,
reading a lot
okay.
of road trip books.
Mhm.
And that one it's just like it gets to those big secret feelings that we don't always voice to other people around us, but I love
Mhm.
getting insight into characters,
Mhm.
big secret feelings, I guess. Whether that be love or grief. I'm very interested in writing about grief. I think that's like something else that we don't really speak about in the world as much as maybe we should. Um, yeah, and so I guess that's I'm really looking for character development mixed with plot. I want a book to be readable. So I
Mhm.
again I'm not really looking for like the perfectly crafted sentence.
No, I feel you. We talked a little bit before we started recording about books and the book I mentioned, The Regrets by Amy Bonifants. It deals so much with grief and how we process death and just huge transitions in life. So I think you really like that. I love how and you're the authority, you wrote the book, definitely better now. I love how you characterize or qualify the book as a romance, because I don't typically reach for romance, and I still don't consider this, for me in my mind, a
Yeah.
romance book, even though I see how it is that. And of course, hearing you say that, but it just seems, and romance is hot right now, so that's definitely a good thing. But it seems so much more than, what most people would like assign or ascribe or prescribe to a romance novel. It's just so it feels bigger than that to me than oh it's a romance book because you spend more time
Yeah, yeah, I
focusing
get
on
that.
her processing from what I got from it versus like oh child
I
what
love
Ben
that.
doing what Ben cooking at the house and his cat and all this. It's like it's more about like oh she's moving through this first year and dealing with a party committee that she don't want to be on but then the cute guy's on it and then dealing with that jerk from finance, and his yachts. And it's like, oh, like, yeah. And as I say this, I hear the elements that come with some romance, but it just feels so much bigger than that. Or maybe I'm biasing against romance in some way. I don't know, but it feels bigger
Well,
than that.
I think I'll say two parts. I think everybody is biased against romance a little bit. I think that I find it very interesting because like love is such a like you go out to lunch with your friends. You're going to talk about love, right? Like when you're like if you read an obituary, it's that is a little love story so often, right? Like that's what we
Mhm.
care about so deeply. And I think it gets like totally sidelined in literature. Like why is a love story not like the most important thing when it is the most important thing when you're at lunch with your friends, right? So that is like
Mhm.
one little soapbox I have. But is this book a romance? I guess yes and no. I wrote it as a romance. I queried it as a romance. The agents that I spoke to were like, it's not a romance. So, and then the publisher was like, it's not a romance.
Oh
So
my
I
God.
think the publishing industry agrees with you, but
That makes me feel
I
so
saw it
good.
as a romance. I saw it as
The
a
big machine
romance.
agrees with Jared. No, I want the
The
artist that
big
agrees.
the big machine agrees with you. And I think that there was a point in when I was writing it, I wrote it like the first draft, it was like half of it was very traditional romance, like very much like I had read a lot of Emily Henry books and I was like, I'm gonna try to write an Emily Henry book. And then
Mhm.
halfway through, I was like again talking to my friend, the same friend who I write with all the time, and I was like, I think I'm gonna this is big spoilers. Okay, wait, big spoilers coming. I said, I think I'm gonna
Yes.
kill the dad. And she was like, you can't kill the dad in a romance. And I was like, no, the
Mhm.
story's just calling for it. I'm going to kill the dad. We'll see how it goes. And I feel like that was kind of like the point of no return where maybe it's not classified exactly as a romance. There is a romance. It's almost a B plot, though. You're right.
I mean, and not even as a negative, it just feels like it's so many things. That's why it's like, oh,
Yeah.
romance. And I'm like, oh, I'm just being biased because I pigeonhole romance. Even though she's not with us today, our co-host of the All Goods Book podcast, Julie Hansard, she's our creative director. She loves romance, and she's really good friends with Ashley Poston, who we've had on our podcast
Oh,
twice.
yes.
And so, like, I'm
I
getting
love
more
her
into.
books.
Oh, you two would love each other, y'all personalities, and
Oh, my
Ashley's local
God.
too.
Yeah.
We should get on like a Zoom together. She's
Would
doing some cool
love.
things. Yeah, and that'll be fun. Love seeing like authors connect. But I'm getting more into the romance and like, I've
Yeah.
never had anything against it, but I'm reading more romance books and enjoying them. But your book, it's a romance, it's a life lesson, it's a Bible. It's a
Hmm.
guide. It's a nice world to go into, and New York feels like another character too, because when you describe some of the
Yeah.
different neighborhoods of them walking around, they're scouting locations for the holiday party or their different apartments. I'm like, oh, this is someone who's lived in New York. My best friends live in New York, and I visit a lot. So I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, it seems like you have a romance or a love for New York. Talk about how much you love the city.
I have lived here my whole life. I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. So
Wow.
I do love the city. I have a complicated feeling with the city, as everybody does who's with their own home, right? I'm actually, which is like big news for me personally, leaving the city for the first time in my life. I'm moving next at the end of the month in a week.
Where are you
Which is
moving
awesome.
to?
I'm moving to the Catskills, so I'm moving to the country north of New York City, about 3 hours
Okay.
north.
How you feel about that?
Um, I'm really excited. So this has been something that we've been planning for a while.
Hmm.
I was raised in the city, love city kids, didn't really want to raise my kid in the city, want her to have some more outside space. So with the 1 year old comes a new place. So that's kind of the idea. But I have always had ideas that I wouldn't live in the city forever. That was like kind of always my plan. But New York is
Hmm.
a hard place to leave, especially when you're from here, because all my friends and family lived here. So I was like, how am I
Hmm.
gonna go somewhere else where there are like less jobs and I don't know anybody. But this book, I one of the things that I love about New York, as in my experience of it, that I wanted to give to readers was how diverse and interesting the AA meetings are here.
Hmm.
And like I was like, that's like a secret element of New York that could be a new cool angle. Um, and I also wanted it to feel like very real. I feel like the rom-coms that are set in New York are so often like the girl has a big apartment that she could never really afford. You know what I mean? Like that, like,
Carrie
like there's like
Bradshaw.
no,
Well, hers was
yeah,
kind of
Carrie Rush,
it's like, girl.
yeah, Carrie Bradshaw, like that she could never really afford. You know what I mean? They're going out every night, and like New York is so expensive, but and it's so in movies and TV, it gets so unrealistically portrayed as like what life in New York could be. And as somebody who's like has lived here all my life, I've always looked at those things too and been like, wow, I wish I could live in that fake New York too.
Not
You know
that
what I
fake
mean?
New
Like
York.
I
You know what it
I
reminds me
sounds
of?
great.
It reminds me of, do you remember that, what's his name? Not Ben Stiller. He did Waterboy. Help me out. He does movies with Netflix now. Brown hair. He did Waterboy. Adam Sandler. He had a
Adam
movie
Sandler.
where,
Okay, yes, of course.
do you remember that movie back in the 90s or early 2000 where it was like
I
him
sure do.
raising his
Say
kid?
no more. Say no
He
more. I know the movie so well because I it's
in the
called like
loft.
Big
I was like, how
Daddy.
can he afford this?
Big Daddy,
Yes.
right? Yes, he's
Yes.
in a
And then
loft.
shopping
I
at
saw
Barney's.
that
Like, how
movie
can they afford this?
as as a kid. I saw it in the theaters in Brooklyn. I was like, what are they talking about? How are they living there? I was like one of my earliest also memories of
He
being
had a
like, that is
fabulous
just
apartment.
not how people live. He had an amazing apartment. It was like a Soho loft for people who haven't
Shopping
seen
at
Big Daddy.
Barney's for fun. I'm
Yeah.
like, but then he had like a regular, like, maybe some might say below regular. It was just like there's no way. And even at my age, I
I know.
was
It's like
like,
even yeah, me too. I was like, I saw it as a kid in theaters, and I was like, mm-mm,
it was
no.
like, mm-mm.
Um, yeah. So I really wanted. I like one of the like I mentioned her salary, and I mentioned her rent in the book, and I mentioned like how expensive things are for her,
Hmm.
and that was important to me to do because like
Hmm.
New York is so much about money. You
Have you seen
know,
The
it's like a
Materialist?
I haven't, but I heard that she mentions her salary in that, and then that was like all
Yes.
over the internet. And that was a big deal because people don't mention salary in these things. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's not talked about in literature so often, especially not in like more commercial literature. Just like everybody can magically afford everything, which is like a fun thing to do as a writer. You can give your protagonist whatever problems you want. You don't have to give them financial problems. But I wanted that to be kind of like a realistic aspect. So it felt like a little bit more like the New York I know, which is so hard to afford.
That realism and that realistic nature of talking about salaries and the expense of the city or how, unaffordable it can be, for me, that brings me in more because it doesn't seem so fantastical. I can relate to the characters more because, like, oh, I can't go to the Mark Hotel and get drinks this weekend because I have that kind of thing. Like, I relate to it. I think no matter what book you're reading, whether it be fiction, nonfiction, romance, or sci-fi or horror, I think on
Mhm.
some level a reader wants to connect, even if this world is completely made up. There has to be something that kind of like anchors it, and realism is a great way to anchor a story and to bring people in. You stay connected. Definitely better now. Love the book. you mentioned earlier you're working on another one. So what can are you allowed to say anything about your next book? What can you say
I
about?
just don't think I should
Okay.
because only because I think I'm allowed to say whatever I want, but I'm like there's not
Mhm.
enough of it to say anything. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to like say
Right.
something here and now and then it be a totally
Vampires,
different book
y'all. Vampires. There's gonna be vampires all over the book. Right. They're gonna be sober
when it comes
vampires,
out. It's
and
gonna
like, during the Salem witch trial, something like that.
I love the
Nailed
Salem
it.
witch trials, so don't tempt me with throwing that in there. But I will just say it's a road trip book, which I love,
Hmm.
and so I'm reading a lot of road trip books. And it's I think I the other theme is sisterhood, so that'll be kind of something
Mm.
I that's really I have a sister, I love my sister, that I didn't explore at all, and definitely better now, and definitely better now. I gave her like kind of a parsed down family because I wanted
Hmm.
the book to so be about her journey. And so this is like kind of a wider family. It's a lot about sisterhood. It's sisters kind of taking a trip together with other family members too.
Well, I won't even wish you luck. I know it's gonna go well. Your writing is incredible. So, we'll put a button on the next book. But when you can talk about it, let us know for that AGB podcast exclusive. But what do you hope
I
people get
will.
from your writing, whether it be definitely better now, the next book, a short story, or even when you're teaching and workshopping and doing work with other young writers and students, like what do you want people to get from your skill, your craft, your magic, from your work, from your writing?
Yeah, I really hope people have fun. I think there are some comments when the first book came out, the book came out, it was like, I read this all in one sitting and I cried and I like stayed up till 3 a.m. That is what I want. You know what I mean? Like, it is funny because it takes like over a year to write these books, but I do want people to read it all in one sitting and accidentally stay up till 3 a.m. and then like cry in bed.
Hmm.
I love that experience as a reader. Like, staying up when you shouldn't be and just like needing to finish the story and needing to know what happens to the characters and like having those like big feelings and you're being totally wrapped up. That is always what I want to achieve. So that's what I'm going for. Another person said, who reached out, like, this felt like my best friend telling me a story. And I want that feeling. Do you know what I mean? When you're like just talking to your best friend and they're telling you like this big thing that happened and it's just you and them. And I want the narrator to feel like the reader's best friend,
You're really
like
good at
so
pacing, which
intimate.
I noticed. Your pacing's great. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
thank you.
like I like to take my time with books because I want to like kind of get saturated in the world, like get seasoned, just kind of like settle into it. But there was never a moment where I was bored or like, oh, what's happening? Let me hurry up and get to the next part because it's just something about your writing. It's just seamless. It's a seamless beauty to the way you pace it, along with those characters and that narrative. So just well done, well done, well done. So
Pacing is
definitely
important to me. Yeah.
no, I mean it's everything. I think a lot of times YA going from fantasy, think about things that get like a bad rap because it's like YA. But the pacing in most YA books are like incredible because they know like their readers want to like,
Totally.
not just move quickly, but like keep them engaged. It has to be on the level, it has to be good. So pacing
Yeah.
is like
Yeah.
incredibly important.
I agree.
What
Yeah. Each scene should point to the next scene. Like the
exactly?
yep. You should want to turn that page.
No, exactly. Quick question. Did you watch And Just Like That? The spinoff
No,
from Sex? Okay.
I saw
Okay.
the original Sex and the City, loved.
Okay.
Didn't I heard about it just like that, but didn't see it.
Because I was like, as a writer, I was like, do you have any advice for,
For Carrie Bradshaw.
Well, it's funny. She's writing. It's funny this current season. She's writing like a historical romance. Her editor
Oh, funny.
comes back to her. Give me one second. We're a living and breathing bookstore. Her editor comes back to her and is like, "This is not a historical romance." And Carrie's like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Oh no, honey. Like the guy can't talking about like the guy can't die, and you need an epilogue where she has some kind of like happy ending." And she said, "Then it's romance." And
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, okay, so yeah."
I love it. I didn't know that was part of it. I didn't see that part of it. But yeah,
Mhm. Check it
if it is
out
a
and
romance,
like
it
take
has to
some
have a
notes and
happy
be like,
ending. That is true.
like
That
check it
is the
out and see what
rule.
HBO says as far as like, oh, okay, like let's get Ava on team to help write a better show. No, they're done. Like they've canceled the show now.
I
It's
heard it
like
got canceled. I heard it got canceled. Yeah. I
okay,
would,
and
yeah.
it's wild.
Anybody wants to hire me to write a TV show, I'm here.
I mean, you are having like a Carrie Aiden moment though. You're going to the upstate, a quieter life in the city. It's like, okay, like
Aiden was always my pick in the original show. I love me an Aiden.
boo, meeting done, bye. We're team big all day, every day. And I love Petrovsky, the Russian. He
Oh,
was
really?
great.
God.
Yes. And they
No, I thought she
expanded,
did Aiden so dirty in the original. I was
oh
just
no,
like
she
that.
did. No, she totally did twice. Like, even he shouldn't have forced her. Like, you can't force her to get engaged, or you do. Like, you have to relax. But Aiden's doing just fine. He sells his furniture to like
Yeah.
not J. Crew, some like high-end furniture market,
Yeah.
like retail or whatever. Like he's West Elm. He's like very rich
West
now.
Elm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so is Carrie. You're
Good
like, they're
good for
too
him.
wealthy. But yeah, what
Yeah,
are you
how did they
currently
get so
reading?
wealthy? Yeah. What am I currently reading? I'm currently reading like some historical romance that
Hmm.
I just like found and I'm reading it all. Pamela Morsi, like from the 90s, Westerns,
Hmm.
which I'm loving. I'm also
Hmm.
reading, this is by my side, I'm teaching a class on writing, and this is really helping. This is
Yes.
The Writer by Maggie Smith. So that's on
Hmm.
my desk, and I'm pulling that, I'm highlighting it. She's great. Um, I'm teaching a class that's called Momentum. It's
Hmm.
about like kind of like developing a writing practice or a creative practice and like sticking with it, which I find to be like so many people have so much talent. And so
Hmm.
many of the writers I know have so much talent, and then they just find it really hard to like write with a day job, with other things. So this is kind of a class on like how to structure your life to get writing done. And
Now,
so
is
I'm
the
reading a
class
lot of
offered
books.
to students or anyone who
It's
just
offered
wants
to students. It's
to?
offered to anyone
Okay.
can take it. Anyone can come take it.
Hmm.
It's through the Writing Institute at Sarah Lawrence, which is non-credit writing. It's on Zoom, so anyone can virtually take it. It'll
Hmm.
be 4 weeks starting September 18th. And so I'm reading a lot about
Nice.
writing right now.
Nice. How does it feel to
Yeah.
teach at Sarah Lawrence? It's a really good school with the storied history and clout that's well deserved. What's it like to be an educator at one of the best schools in the country?
Well, I'm mainly an administrator. So I'm the assistant director. So I mainly like do admin things. And this will be my first class that I'm teaching. So I'm very excited about that. So they're
Okay,
letting me teach a
cool.
class. Yeah.
That means you're worthy.
Uh,
You were worthy and are now and will forever be worthy. But that means you're worthy. I love that.
yeah. I'm very excited about the first class I'll be teaching for Sarah Lawrence this fall.
Mhm. Are they like really young, like 18 and like 20 something, like Cat in the Hat writing? Or let me stop.
No, no. This is for adults, so it's for anyone can come take it. It's non-credit.
Okay.
It's not the
Okay.
undergraduate, so it's like
Hmm.
continuing ed, but like so we'll have people from all over. It's on Zoom. Um, so like I've looked at my roster so far, and there are like really cool people in it. I'm like, oh
So I
my
could
God.
sign up
I've
for
like
this
Googled them.
class, and
You
join
can sign
in.
up. Sign on up. Yeah,
Okay.
anybody can sign up.
My writing won't be that good, but are you noticing any themes? I'm more of a talker than a writer. I'm like I get freaked out when
I
I
think
have to
you'd be a
write.
great writer. You're such a good reader, clearly. You're really thinking about all the aspects of the book, so
Well, my
we'll see.
degree's in mass comm. I can do more like journalism writing, where it's like
Mm,
observational and just giving facts for like what you do, like you do. And it's like, oh God, no. I'll be like, I got maybe an essay in me, and that is your
yeah.
story, and like leave me alone on like so many pages. I'm like, like I would freak out, like I would lose my mind, truly.
Yeah, I get it. I feel now that I've written a novel, I feel like I never want to write a short story again. Now that I'm like, a novel is
Oh.
where it's at. You know what I mean? It's like, that is, I don't really read short stories. I read so many novels. So I'm like, that is
Hmm.
like the length that I think that I have like internalized and like the pacing that
Hmm.
I've internalized as a reader. And that's what I love now.
So
That
hot
length with a
take, well, not a
character.
hot take. So Ava saying there's more power in the novel than a short story. So are you short story writers and essayists? Ava says it's
Not
trash.
a hot
Just kidding. That's me
not
like
trash,
embarrassing.
not trash. Just
You and your short story get out of here. Like novels only, a novel only club. Like, see what happened, Ava? You write one book. You write one good book and then you already changing on the people. Like, what happened? Like, oh my God. Like, I'm kidding, y'all. Like, I'm ridiculous. You have to forgive me.
I love it. I love I still no, I read essays. I like essays.
Oh, now she likes singing. I like her, so they all right. They're cute. But no, jokes aside though, because I know we had like 6 minutes before it ends, and I want to make sure like we have a moment to like in the recording, but still like wrap up like properly. That's humans connecting. We ask authors this question for every podcast episode, and it doesn't have to be like it can be like books you want to get to, but in the spirit of Ezra Klein, because on his podcast he ends each episode with like, oh, what three books are you reading or want to read or whatever the case may be. So that's always our last question, and you kind of touched on it a little bit with something I asked earlier, like what are you reading now? But think about the books you read in your past, and I'll make it specific for you, like what three books would you recommend that people read during their lifetime? Like, oh, books that left their mark on you. So not currently reading
Mm.
or hope to read, but what books, give me three books that have left their mark on you in a good way.
Oh my God, big question. Okay. Number one that comes to mind is The Shining by Stephen King. Everybody should read that book. It is the one of the best books, I think. Like pacing, scare, and then also character development. I actually wrote my master's thesis on it about like how it's like kind of like tracing the story of an alcoholic. It's so good. So that is like a lot of people have seen the movie and not read the book. Give the book a try. I'll go with that one. Trying to think. If you don't love romance and you're thinking about liking romance, I think you should read Pride and Prejudice. That's like the biggest classic romance. I read it every year. Pride and Prejudice is like, birthed a
Jane
thousand other
Austen.
books. Jane
Wow.
Austen, Jane Austen,
Whoa.
Pride and
Whoa.
Prejudice.
All right
I
now.
love. I mean, it is the best romance ever written, I think. And then
Right now.
I'm trying to think about a third book that's just on the top of my mind always. Definitely better now. Yeah, give it like show it. Right? You should read that. Definitely better now. By Ava Robinson. Oh, there are like so many fantastic books out there. I like never ending fantastic books. Yeah, I'll leave it with those two, and then I guess like I'm a big Emily Henry fan. I love Emily Henry. Um,
I
and
love it
I
about
love
beach
People We Meet on
read.
Vacation. Beach Read is great. Oh, and then Normal People by Sally Rooney. I'm also like a really obsessive Sally Rooney girl, which like
I have
maybe you
not
should
read
read.
her books, but Anna Wintour recently
Oh,
loved Intermezzo, and I was like, if Anna likes it, then I want to, because I respect Anna Wintour.
Intermezzo's the hardest one. Start with Normal People.
So no,
Start with
okay, no,
Normal
okay,
People.
okay,
Read Normal People. It's so good. It's
okay.
like the way she can write characters, and like there's one scene in it where it's like two people are having a conversation and you're in
Hmm.
both of their heads separately, and they're like having different conversations. They're both like getting their heart broken accidentally by what this person's saying that they're not intending to.
Hmm.
It's like just kind of the way she writes interiority is really amazing.
Did you read All Fours by Miranda July?
I didn't.
Oh, it's now that's juicy. It's definitely romance, but it's something. It's good. It's like it's a lot of things, but it's good though. But that means I love that we have similar tastes. I love that. Before it ends on us, is there anything you want to say to those listening to the All Good Books podcast, or anything you want to share or say that I didn't cover with my questions?
No, your questions are so good. You're an amazing interviewer. You're like really great at this. So thank you. I feel like you covered everything. Come take my class if you want anyone. Follow me on Instagram at Ava Arson. I'm writing, reading, and I really love to hear from readers. If you read the book and you liked it and you want to slide into my DMs and tell me that, I love that. So feel free.
Yes, absolutely. We love making artists feel good. And I'm just saying that for effect because we interview, like, when I do photographs, I'm like, as long as one person likes it or one person has a reaction, because if you react to it, that means it's art. But then, of course, if it's a
Yeah.
positive reaction, who doesn't want that fuel that help them keep going to feel good about what they're putting out to the world? And what you've put out to the world with Definitely Better Now, Ava, is absolutely incredible. It's immaculate. You about to tickle the whole department at Sarah Lawrence, in my humble opinion, with work like this. So thank you for doing the podcast. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a pleasure.
Of course, of course.